Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. SVG's national flag was hoisted last evening at a flag-raising ceremony hosted at the cruise ship berth in commemoration of the island's 45th independence anniversary celebrations. The flag-raising ceremony, which was followed by fireworks, marks the commencement of the final leg of the 45th independence celebrations, scheduled for Sunday evening, October 27th at Victoria Park. In his address at the ceremony, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves highlighted the historical significance of the day, October 21st, noting that it dates back to 1935 when a colonial uprising took place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In a monumental anti-colonial uprising, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines commenced a social democratic revolution which has been in process since then. Many of the tasks of which we are still seeking to complete in the present period. Salaries had not been increased. Minimum wages for 100 years. That is to say, from 1838, the last year of the 4-year period of the apprenticeship system, the abolition of the enslavement of African bodies.
The Prime Minister emphasized that the event was one of the key moments that paved the way for SVG's independence.
October the 21st, 1935, riots, I've always seen them not as riots but a spontaneous anti-colonial uprising which set in train a social democratic revolution for change. And in a formal sense, those governance arrangements were concluded when we reclaimed our independence on October the 27th, 1979. And each successive generation of Vincentians since 1935 has contributed to this evolution and building of our social democracy.
During his speech, the Prime Minister urged Vincentians to never allow others to define their history. He stated that it is time to reclaim their history if SVG is to succeed as a nation.
Colonialism and modern imperialism have had as one of their principal objectives the erasing or the mutilation of our history. It is our job to reclaim our history and to view ourselves through a prism of our own eyes. Because until we start to do that and understand it and act on that understanding, having applied our hearts to wisdom, we are not going to succeed as a nation in life, living, and production. Oh, to be sure, we will make incremental advances. But for there to be a strategic paradigm shift in our lives, living, and production, among other things, we must reclaim our history.
The Prime Minister is encouraging all Vincentians to attend the parade and rally on Sunday, October 27th, 2024, as transportation arrangements are being made for attendees. This year's 45th Independence celebration is being held under the theme 45 Years of Togetherness, Prosperity and Perseverance. On radio today, member of the National Independence Committee, Ellsworth Ezzy Roberts, expressed excitement about the upcoming National Independence Parade, which will be held at night for the first time in years.
So the fact that we now have the parade in the evening into the night, that's the first thing that kind of hit persons, and they say, right, the response that I've had from almost everyone I spoke to is that they really like the idea of doing it like that. So once it's successful this year, chances are persons might want us to continue to do that, you know. The additional things we have added as in the consort and even the pre-show and so forth, would help to make the entire exercise, you know, one that person will remember for a very long time. I mean, we don't want to let everything out of the bag. Last night I was in the park with Rodney and other members of the team, and we were looking at some of the work that has already been done in preparation for what we're going to do. And trust me, persons they're going to enjoy it. It's something totally different.
Superintendent Junior Simmons of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, who will be leading the parade for the first time, promises a parade with a difference.
There would be the display would be different. We'll be doing a special display this year, and in order for you to really see the true meaning of it, you have to be in Victoria Park on Sunday, October 27th, 2024, from 6 p.m. So be there. In addition to the display, we have added you know, a new, what we call a new reverence to the state of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we'll be doing 3 chairs to the nation.
Right.
And when that is done, the entire nation can participate in it. Those who are in Victoria Park, also those who are viewing and listening on social media or on the radio, because they would get the opportunity to partake in that as well. So, you know, that's an exciting addition to the parade.
All right.
Also, for the first time in 45 years, and I think I'm subject to correction, but I think I'm correct. There will be 3 marching bands on parade. 3 marching bands. So you'd have the Royal St. Vincent Grenadier Police Force Band, the Royal Grenadier Police Force Band, and the SVG Cadet Force Band. So we may have to increase the square footage on the parade ground. Because,
well, you're in charge.
You know, because, you know, that would be a massive marching band there.
Superintendent Simmons stated that rehearsals for the parade have been taking place on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and everyone is ready for the big event.
One of the things that we often speak about is the marriage between tradition and modernization, and that is what I think Sunday is going to represent. Right, the tradition of the military parade, the formalities and stuff, and as the superintendent mentioned, there are going to be some additional elements into that. That is a part of modernization.
Right.
So the tradition is the military parade, the routines, the drills, you know what I mean? And from the time working along with the superintendent, I feel I could join the parade. I know everything about this military parade now, you know what I mean? I mean, yesterday I had the opportunity to interact with a particular object of the parade, and I mean, I've learned so much, you know what I mean? But the marriage between the traditional military parade and the cultural package is something that is going to pull on your heartstrings, because as from a creative standpoint, it is more about a feel and not just visual. But being able to create the marriage with feel and visual was the creative direction. Now, I mean, Mr. Simmons and I are trying to not say much, but I think every time we take a little piece out of the bag, by the time we reach the next radio station, everything out of the bag. But we're going to be utilizing a lot of pyrotechnics. A lot of lights, I mean, a lot of designs, as Mr. Simmons said, a lot of displays. But then how do we activate these displays with the modernized technology?
You have to come and see.
You'll have to come and see, but and I mean, just to whet your taste buds, one of the things that we investigated was what it would cost to do a drone show. And when we got the price, we said, boy, we might have to sell the police station, we might have to sell Victoria Park.
And fear the bands.
Yeah,
the band members.
So we said, you know what, we are creative beings, we're going to look at an innovative way, and we came up with an innovative way where we, not a drone show, but we're going to have a ground show.
That was Rodney Small, another committee member. He mentioned that they are blending historic and modern elements into the parade. He added that following the official military parade, there will be an additional component dubbed One Nation, Many Voices, which represents the people and helps create their identity through dance, music, poetry, and storylines that are unique to SVG. Today marks the start of the judging for the Best Village competition, which is another component of the National 45th Independence celebrations. 40 Vincentian sailors have returned home for a 10-day visit. During their stay, the sailors will participate in ceremonial events, join islanders in public and private gatherings, and above all, reunite with their families as St. Vincent and the Grenadines celebrates 45 years of independence from the UK. Currently, over 600 Vincentian men and women have volunteered to serve in the Royal Navy, highlighting the Commonwealth country's unmatched commitment to the senior service. The Royal Navy and Royal Marines Charity are sharing the cost of the 10-day visit equally for the 40 Vincentian sailors. Prime Minister Gonsalves underscores unwavering commitment of regional Labour parties to improve lives of constituents at St. Lucia Labour Party conference over the weekend. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves delivered the keynote address at the St. Lucia Labour Party's conference of delegates on the weekend. In his remarks, he underscored the unwavering commitment of regional Labour parties to improving the lives of their constituents and fostering a vibrant Caribbean civilization. The leader of the Unity Labour Party issued a stern warning against the growing tendency to disregard facts and embrace a fabricated history, urging attendees to be wary of those who denigrate Caribbean institutions. We hear more in this HTS News report.
The guest speaker at the St. Lucia Labour Party's Conference of Delegates, Dr. Rav Gonsalves, sought to show the contrast between the Caribbean Labour parties, Jamaica his noted exception, and their more conservative opponents. The veteran Caribbean politician says the region's Labour parties are centered on the upliftment of the people and a belief in what he calls Caribbean civilization and its institutions.
Our vision is that which is centered on people. Our philosophy is a universal philosophy of social democracy applied to our own appropriate circumstances. We hold there that there is something called a Caribbean civilization, which has come through the fever of history and through the process of creolization in our own seascape and landscape. We have fashioned a functioning civilization, our own, of which there's a magnificent St. Lucian component. And our duty is to further enhance the ennoblement of that civilization.
Dr. Gonsalves warned against the emerging universal trend, which he says is very much alive in the Caribbean, one in which truth does not matter and the imaginary past is presented as a goal to which nations should aspire.
They look forward to a past which is an illusion. They will tell you that St. Lucia was in a better place before July the 26th, 2021. Well, the reason why you changed them so authoritatively is because you were overwhelmingly dissatisfied with what was happening there.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister cautioned against those he says are dismissive of Caribbean people and institutions.
You cannot have a philosophy and a leadership based on denigrating everything which comes out of our Caribbean civilization.
22 companies from the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, the TTMA, are currently in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on a trade mission that started on October 21st. The SVG Chamber of Commerce is facilitating the mission. Its director, Anthony Regisford, informed SVG-TV News that the export market in Trinidad and Tobago, along with the TTMA, is looking to expand its presence in SVG.
Okay, so they're looking at St. Vincent as a market for opportunities to sell their goods and services. What is so special about it is because it's all part of the CSME arrangement. The goods are mainly produced in Trinidad. So once the rules of origin criteria is met for a zero tariff on import to St. Vincent, i.e. if you a good is produced in that market, then it does not attract any duties into the common market.
Companies will also have the opportunity to display their products at the business-to-business meetings being held at Beachcombers. Register stated that this provides a chance for local businesses to collaborate with the SVG Chamber of Commerce to become agents for the visiting companies.
We looked at the profile of the companies represented from Trinidad, and we tried to match them with companies that may be interested in doing business with them here locally. So we had a series of meetings where, we are using the conference room at the Beachcombers Hotel, and each company has a station, i.e. they're behind a table, and they sit and chat with representative companies here and explore if there's any opportunity for doing business together.
The mission includes companies from various sectors, including food and beverage, construction, chemicals, household products, shipping and logistics, printing and packaging, and automotive. The three-day mission concludes tomorrow, during which stakeholders in SVG will facilitate discussions related to trade and export.
At 3:30, we're having a Doing Business Forum. The Doing Business Forum is a different format to the business-to-business meetings. The Doing Business Forum will see presentations from key entities related to trade and moving goods across the border, right? So, for example, the Bureau of Standards will do a presentation, and they will talk about sanitary measures and other things about the standards that you have to meet to import goods into St. Vincent. Yeah. There's a representative from Invest SVG who's going to do a presentation on what our own exports sector looks like and look at some reciprocal arrangements.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines supplies Trinidad and Tobago with root crops such as dasheen, cassava, tanya, yam, and ginger. In 2017, the governments of SVG in Trinidad and Tobago signed an $20,000 trade arrangement to export produce weekly from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, aimed at increasing the island's exports to traditional markets in the CARICOM region. The Executive Director of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Bureau of Standards, SVGBS, Ezra D. Ledger, has been appointed as the new chairperson of the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, CROSQ. His appointment was confirmed during the 45th CROSQ Council meeting and the Indico Global European Standardization System, the ESS workshop, held from October 9th to 11th, 2024 in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This event convened national, regional, and international leaders and stakeholders to explore pivotal initiatives in advancing quality infrastructure and standardization across CARICOM. Ledger succeeds Von Emmanuel, Director of the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, the SLBS, and will serve a one-year term. Also appointed during the meeting was Jose Trejo, Executive Director of the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, as Vice Chair, replacing M. Ledger. Together, they will steer CROSQ's efforts in enhancing regional standards and quality. The CROSQ Council comprises the heads of national standards bodies from CARICOM member states. Its mission includes facilitating trade within the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME, and with international partners, enhancing the quality of goods and services in the region and promoting economic development through the implementation of CARICOM standards. CROSQ, headquartered in Barbados, represents 15 CARICOM member states and reports to the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED. The organization continues to play a pivotal role in strengthening regional quality infrastructure, contributing to the region's competitiveness and resilience in the global marketplace. The public is being reminded that some prisoners may not have to serve their full sentences if they demonstrate good behavior while incarcerated. This point was highlighted by Senior Prison Officer Gareth Clark on the Police on the Beat program on Monday evening, which focused on His Majesty's prisons, incarceration, and reintegration. Clark, who has been a prison officer for many years, noted that in numerous cases, prisoners are released early based on their behavior during incarceration.
When you're sentenced, if you're given a 15-year sentence, it's a 15-year sentence you're given.
Right.
You are 1/3 is discounted based on your behavior.
Right.
If you misbehave, the superintendent can naturally put back on that time. So it is not your sentence for 15 years and you come in to do 10 years. Okay. You do 10 years based on your behavior in the prisons.
Okay.
I know that the public would say, oh, a year,
9 months.
A year is 8 months.
Yes, that's
but that is not so. A year is a year.
Right.
But the 1/3 is discounted based on your behavior.
He went on to explain the difference between being on remand and serving a sentence, detailing the processes involved.
The procedure is basically the same thing. The difference is one would be serving a sentence, and the other would be on remand. That the remand person would have to be taken back to court every 7 days, and the other person, the person who was sentenced, his sentence would be calculated upon admission.